Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing my October wrap up. October was full of so many great reads. I had the best reading month. Some of my favorite books of the year have come from this month. So, it has been great and I can't wait to share it with you. The first one I read was After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one we are following this married couple and they've been married for a really long time, but they're not happy. They're fighting and struggling and just miserable. Well, they decide that the best course of action is to separate for a year. No contact, no visits, no letters, no emails, no texts, nothing. Completely separate, and there are no rules. If you want to be with somebody else, be with somebody else. If you want to be single, be single. No rules. Just can't talk to each other. Well, so we're following just the wife's character, Lauren, and she is living her day to day life and she is trying to deal with the fact that she's single now. And we're following her interacting with her family and trying to tell her family. And her family has a lot of opinions about what they would do in her situation. And I love the fact that we got different perspectives on what different people would do. Like, some of her family members are like, "You're stupid. You work it out. Like, that's what you do." And then some are like, "No, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And if this break is what you need, then okay." The family dynamics were the best part. I loved her relationship with her sister. I love the dynamics with her sibling, her brother, is what I meant to say there, and him and his life situations and how it sort of like parallels to hers. And Taylor Jenkins Reid did a really good job with that. I would have liked to have had more of the husband's perspective. I believe his name is Ryan. I would have loved to have more of his perspective just because I don't know. I feel like it adds so much more to the story when you get both sides. But I think that we didn't get that, so that way we would be more concerned on, are they going to get together? Are they not going to get together? Are they going to divorce? Like, where is this going to end up? And so all we get is her perspective, and we get to watch her go back and forth and have no idea how the husband is feeling about it. It was definitely an enjoyable read, but I don't know that I loved it. Now, Rule Book, I enjoyed so much more. This one, we were following a hockey player, of course. I think he's hockey. Might have been football. He was football. I was right. He was football. So we're following Derek and Nora. Nora is a sports agent and she is just now getting her own clients and kind of like being her own sports agent rather than interning. And Derek is a football player who is in need of an agent because his is retiring. So they end up getting paired together. Well, they had dated when they were in college, and Nora is trying to like put it aside and not worry about it and just be his agent. Well, Derek is not on board with that. See, Nora broke his heart. Like, they were dating and then out of the blue she just like broke up with him, and so they were done. And he loved her. Like, he wanted a future with her. And then she was just gone. And so he is torturing her while she is his agent, making her cook for dates and making her come and organize his closets and do all kinds of stuff for him. And she knows that he's just doing it to get back at her, but she does it anyways. And she is bound and determined to be the best agent ever. And I love their dynamic. They're so much fun. I love enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers is so much fun because they tend to fall into that dynamic of revenge and trying to get each other back. And I love watching all the shenanigans. It's the best thing ever. But so while they are on a trip, he ends up getting drunk and she ends up getting drunk and they end up getting married. And it wouldn't have been a problem, but they blasted it all over social media. So now they kind of have to stay married to sort of prove that it wasn't just a drunken mistake, because a drunken mistake would not look good for Nora's company. There was some miscommunication back and forth as far as like, do we actually like each other? Do we not actually like each other? They did a really good job of not staying in that miscommunication for very long, but it was definitely there. I love Nora. She's definitely quirky and quick witted, She reminds me of Lorelai Gilmore. There was this one scene where she's trying to talk to the security dude about like getting past him and getting into this room. And whenever she like gets in and runs away from him, she makes a comment about, I'll hire you for my next event or whatever. And it definitely sounded like Lorelai Gilmore. This could also be classified as a second chance romance. And I love a second chance romance when everything can kind of be redeemed. Like if we break up because like you cheated, then second chance is kind of a lot harder to deal with, you know? But I feel like for this one, the whole situation is definitely more redeemable, which is perfect for me. But yeah, this book was absolutely fantastic. I loved the wit and the banter. I had an issue with his friends being a little too evolved. I don't know, they talk more like therapists than they do like grown men. And so that could just be a me thing. Fucking Sweet by Emily Rath. Oh my gosh, I had the best time with this. We're following Poppy, Lucas, and Colton, and they all work for this hockey team down in Florida. And Poppy is the media manager, and Colton and Lucas are hockey players. Well, Poppy likes both of them. They like her. And instead of her picking, they all just kind of be together. It's the way it works. And so we're following them as they are starting their hockey journey with this new team. Like the team is brand new. And so they're all coming in as brand new people. They're all getting to know the team and the staff and everybody and trying to show the nation that this hockey program could be something. So they're starting from the ground up, which is a lot of work and a lot of work on Poppy. And so in that, she is trying to deal with all of the players and all of their shenanigans and PR issues, but also trying to decide like, do I want to be with Lucas? Do I want to be with Colton? Colton is a sweetheart. He is precious. And Lucas is, he's a bit more wild. Lucas has a hard time with commitment. He doesn't believe in commitment because he's terrified, absolutely terrified of being abandoned. And so, because he's terrified of being abandoned, he doesn't want to really get close to Colton and Bobby, but he's having to navigate that because like he wants to be with him, but he's also terrified. Meanwhile, Colton is dealing with health issues. Like he has a weak heart and he's always had that. But now it's getting to a place where it's having a hard time keeping up with the demands of hockey. And so he's having to deal with these health concerns. And then Poppy is dealing with her family. Her family is high society and they're very old school. And Poppy's little sister is marrying her ex. So like Poppy dated this dude and now he's dating and marrying her little sister, which is a tough dynamic. But it's also a tough dynamic given the fact of how he treated Poppy when they were together, and she knows that he's going to do the same thing to her little sister, but nobody wants to listen to her. So she's having to deal with all of this. Poppy's learning how to do boundaries with her family, even though like she wants relationships with her family, but trying to figure out like what's best for her. I love the sarcasm and the interactions with everyone in this. Sarcasm is the best thing ever in a book. I absolutely love it. And Lucas, so sarcastic. I cracked up so many times during this book. So many times. The only problem I had with this book was their whole thing of like, I need you or you're mine. I hate that kind of claim on somebody or the fact that like you need somebody because you don't need them. But it was usually said in moments of passion, if you will. And so I think in like those contexts, like things kind of get said in those contexts that we don't really fully mean. It's just for that, if you know what I'm saying. So I can kind of let it slide, but definitely would draw me out of it whenever it popped up. The next one was the dating dare, and this one helped me understand that when I read a romance, I need more than just the romance. In this one, we are following Seth and Tara. Seth is the brother to Tara's best friend's husband. so complicated. And he is in town because his brother got married to Tara's friend, and so they're on their honeymoon. So he is staying in his brother's home and helping start up his brother's restaurant. Seth is a photographer who is getting ready to move to Paris at the end of the month. And him and Tara decide to have a dating dare sort of thing where I dare you to go on 4 dates with me and not fall in love with me. And they were a little bit drunk when they decided to do it, but not like too drunk, but a little bit drunk. And so they start going on these dates and they fell for each other pretty quickly. Like, pretty quickly. But I mean, that's the way it goes in romance books. But I digress. Um, it was good. I love their interactions and I love that they really seem compatible. They seem like they would work together. The only thing I didn't like about this was that we didn't get anything else outside of the romance. We had a little bit of family dynamics or friend dynamics, but we didn't get much of that at all. It was mostly just them together, and there was nothing as far as like work happening or anything. We got very, very little of that. And there were some opportunities that could have been used for that. Like, Tara is a beer maker. I don't know, there's an actual name for that, but I don't know what the name is. But so her and her family own this bar, and they make alcohol. There's a word for that. Distillery. They own a distillery. And she makes alcohol, and one of her goals is to win this competition against this other dude who makes alcohol, and he generally wins, and one of her goals is to beat him out. That was it. We just got told about it. We didn't get to see her in competition or anything. We didn't get to see her interacting with him as far as like trash talk and like, I'm gonna beat you this time. Nothing. It was all just centered around the romance, which is fine, but it's not what I want out of a romance. And so it definitely detracted from the romance. I did like that we got both perspectives. I love dual perspectives. I think there are very few romance books that I've read that I loved that only had a single perspective. I really love a dual perspective, but I do wish that we had had more depth to the story than just that. And then Brother was my book of the year. Absolutely love Brother. You will be hearing more from me about Brother because I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about this book. So we're following Michael, and Michael is like 20 years old, and he lives with the Moros. The Moros include parents, Wade and Clonidine, and an older brother called Reb or Ray. Sometimes he goes by either one. And then by a sister, she's a little bit older than Michael, but her name is Misty Dawn. And so they all live together in this home, and Michael is terrified of his family. And the dynamics in this book are fantastic. So we find out that Michael was adopted when he was young, and we learn that his family are serial killers, and then they like eat the people that they kill. And from the time that he was like 10, he was helping kill people. And that was just the way that they grew up. That was the dynamic of their home. So much abuse happening in this home. Like, the author didn't even have to go into all of the details about some of the abuse because you just know because of everything else that's happening. Abuse was totally normalized. Fear and control were normalized in this book. But so we're following Michael, and he is beholden to Ray because Ray is the boss. Like, that has been drilled into his head from the time he stepped onto the property. Ray is the boss. And so he has to listen to Ray. Whatever Ray says is what Ray gets. Well, we're also following Ray's perspective, and Ray is very angry. Like, he is such an angry person. He hates everybody. And Ray is incredibly manipulative, and like, he's very good at it. He's got a lot of control and power over Ray. He's got a lot of power and control over Michael, and Michael will do whatever he wants, and he knows that. So he ends up talking Michael into robbing liquor stores or convenience stores for him so he can have alcohol. Michael doesn't drink any of it. It's just him. Ray ends up taking Michael to this music store and they end up meeting some girls there. Well, Michael develops a relationship with this girl named Alice, and she sort of sparks an interest in him about getting out of town. And he would like to, but he is so terrified of his family. And I mean, for good reason. Like, they are all about power and control. It would be a fight for him to be able to leave. Like, nobody leaves. Nobody leaves. But this book was everything that I wanted in a story. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved the family dynamics. I loved the unraveling of Michael's story. I loved the power dynamics that we were struggling with. I love the ending. Oh my gosh, that ending. That ending is fantastic. Like, it was the best ending. It was exactly what it needed to be and more. Like, oh, it was fantastic. I highly, highly, highly recommend Brother. Like, you have to read it. If you have any interest at all in reading about it, you have to read it. The next one was Pug Me Secretly, and this is a Vancouver Wolves series companion novel by Odette Stone. This one is part of the hockey vlog that I'm working on to celebrate the start of hockey season. And this one we are following Rory and Max. And Rory is the general manager's daughter for this hockey arena. And Max is a player that just got traded onto the team. Rory and Max had met on their way to Vancouver because they were on a plane together and they were side by side, and the plane crashed. And on this plane crash, or on this flight, Rory and him sort of talked, and he sort of helped her through the crash. Like, he was super good with her. And so they sort of have like this connection. And I mean, they did hook up a little bit after, which also helped with their connection. But so now Rory is kind of in charge of him. And so now they can't date. And on top of that, her family is like high society and they don't like him. And Rory has no idea why they don't like him, but they don't like him. Rory is dealing with the fact that, one, she's not qualified to be in this position. And two, she's having to deal with the fact that she likes him, but can't do anything about it. And we're dealing with the dynamics of the staff not liking Rory, and there's some drama on social media about how she is asking for sexual favors from the hockey players, and the whole team hates her and nobody wants her around, and all of these things. And so we don't know who is doing this. We don't know who's causing this drama. And we're also having to deal with just the typical romance dynamics between Max and Rory, because Max doesn't do commitment, and he's trying not to be distracted because he has to make this season work, because he was traded from his team due to a fight that he was in with one of his teammates, where he hurt the dude so badly that the dude needed like reconstructive surgery. Like, he is not wanted on teams right now. And so Rory's dad took a chance by pulling him in on their team. And so he's trying to do everything he can to make it work. So he's really motivated to like not be with Rory, but like he wants to be with Rory. But he has a lot of secrets that Rory doesn't know or understand, and it kind of causes some tension in there. I thought this was fine. I think that my expectations were really high because Home Game by Odette Stone is the second book in this series, and I loved Home Game. Like, Home Game was so good. Like, it's been 2 to 3 years, maybe 4, since I read Home Game, and I still think about it. So I think my expectations coming in were super high, and I don't think that I really connected with Rory like I needed to. And so I think that that caused the book to just be kind of okay for me. And then, oh my gosh, I finally finished Words of Radiance. I've been reading this book all year, and it is finally on a wrap up. So Words of Radiance is book 2 in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. So in the Stormlight Archive, we're following an array of different people, from a soldier to a thief to a war general to lots of smaller minor characters during interludes and things, because we are at war with these people called the Proshendi, and we're at war with them because they killed our king. And so now we're in revenge with them. Meanwhile, we've got Dalinar's having visions, and he's not sure if he's crazy or if they are from the god that they believe in. Kaladin is a slave, but he is having to run these bridges, and he is like the lowliest slaves that you could be. Like, you're there to die, basically. And so he's fighting off depression and trying to be a leader and trying to get his team on board. And Shallan is trying to learn how to be a good scholar from Yasna. Meanwhile, she's trying to steal from Yasna. So we're following all these different people, and there's a whole lot more to it. We've got these Knights Radiants that are trying to come back into the world. They're these like almost like superhero type of people, but we don't like them because they betrayed their oaths, and now we're all mad at them. But we don't really remember anything about them because it was thousands of years ago, sort of thing. I did a really bad job describing that. You would think after all the times that I've described it, I would be better at it, but I think there's just too much happening to describe it well. But so, book two. My favorite of the four that are out, no, there's five out now, or five out now, but it's still my favorite one. I've only read the first four, but rereading this was a slog. It is taking, I think I started reading this in February and March, and I'm just now finishing it because it's been a slog. It's so long. It's a 45-hour audiobook, okay? It's very, very long. There are a lot of really good scenes in this. A lot of things that I didn't remember or didn't quite understand when I first read it. And so by rereading it, I was able to like actually understand some more things, which was the whole point of rereading it. I wanted to reread the first four before I read the fifth one so that I was like prepared for that fifth one. But because this one was so much a slog and I really didn't like the next two as well as I like this one, I've decided that I'm not going to reread those. I'm just going to find some sort of summary online and listen to those and then just move on to the fifth one because I don't know that I could listen to another 90 hours before reading that fifth book. I don't think that I could do it. So that's the plan for now. Now, I love Brandon Sanderson. I love his writing. I love his stories. I love his storytelling. His stories are fantastic because they're complex and they're very character driven, but they have really good plots and they've got pretty good twists in them, and the lore is fantastic. I just wish they were shorter. And then, okay, this last one is a tiny, 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 tiny bit of a cheat, okay? It is The Girl in 6E. I finished it Saturday morning, okay? It was November 1st, okay, technically. But I only needed to listen to an hour of it. So I listened to 7 hours of it in October. And then my 8th hour was in November. So I'm counting it for October, especially because I just want to go ahead and talk about it. So sue me. But this one, we are following this girl named Deanna. And Deanna is a serial killer. She is very concerned about her like tendencies and her wanting to like kill people. And so she has decided that the best way to deal with that is to lock herself away in her apartment. And so she has this apartment. She hasn't left the apartment in 3 years. Her neighbor, she has a deal with her neighbor, and he will lock the door from the outside at nighttime so that she can't leave the apartment at night because her desire to kill people is worse at night. And she is a cam girl, meaning she performs for men or women or whoever, but she performs online for people who want to be in private chat rooms with her, and that's how she makes her money. Well, she ends up having one of her patrons who is asking her to do things that are in this explicit nature, but she's getting the feeling that she represents a child because it's very consistent with the name. She is requested to dress and act really young, and so she's very concerned that he is interested in a child. And so she has another patron who is a hacker and like really good with computers. Find out information on this patron, and she's just going to keep an eye on him because she is like, I don't trust you. Well, what ends up happening is this little girl goes missing, and it's the same little girl that has, and it's this little girl that has the same name as Deanna does when she's performing those acts for him. And so she is like, okay, I'm gonna leave my apartment and I'm gonna go and take care of the situation. And that is our story, is her deciding that she's gonna go save this little girl from her patron, basically. And oh my gosh, it was the best thing ever. I had the greatest time. Like, it was predictable. Like, I could see the twist and like the secret coming, but it was so good. I had the best time. I had goosebumps at the end of the book. I got goosebumps right now, just like telling you about it. And there was one scene at the end where I'm just like, why am I getting ready to cry right now? Like, I felt this so much. I love this book. This was the best thing. If Brother wasn't like the best of the year, like this would probably be pretty high up there. I think I just really connected with the characters. I think I really liked Deanna, which is so interesting because I mean, she's a killer and she's a cam girl, which are not super likable things, but it was the best time. I loved it. If you've not read this one, I highly recommend it. It is so good. Now, it is explicit in its content, okay? I mean, you can't really be a character in a book who is a cam girl and not talk about stuff, okay? There's a lot of that in it. So, if you don't like all that, then maybe skip it. But if that doesn't bother you, then I would definitely recommend it because this was so much fun. I had the greatest time. Oh, but yeah, that's a lot of books to read in October. I had the greatest month. I think that this may be one of the better months that I've read. I've read several that I really, really loved, and so glad to be finished with Words of Radiance. That one took up a lot of brain power for me. Super glad to be done. Have you read any of these? What books are you guys reading? What did you read in October? Let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.